Yeah.
I'm doing it anyway. Oh, right, now we're gonna come from there. Okay. Did everyone get the form? Yeah, they had the form, okay.
Do you want me to collect them?
Just get them to me by the end of the meeting.
I'll take
Don't
them.
want that one. I'm here.
Look, right now,
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Okay.
Sorry I couldn't be there. I managed to get the flu.
Nice. I'm not sorry I'm not there. I'm in Chicago.
Oh.
Chicago has the best downtown in the U.S., I think.
Well, it is sunny and 65 degrees, so even out,
Rub it in.
yeah, it's nice.
I mean, second to Auburn. After Auburn's downtown, then Chicago.
Good save, Rob, good save.
The mayor was fuming over here.
What do you mean? Are we at forum?
We are, 1, 2, 3, yeah, we're good.
Great, well, good evening, everyone. I am pleased to open up our February ADA board meeting. Tracy, will you do the roll call, please?
Chairwoman Weber McLeod, President Mr. Andre,
Present.
Councilor Cuddy,
Here.
Ms. Crawford,
Here.
Mayor Giantino.
Here.
Mr. Lovell is excused, Ms. Walter here, Ms. Hennigan, present, Mr. Alfaro.
Correct. Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to also acknowledge, thank you for joining us tonight, Robert. From Zoom, we're always welcome. So what I'd like to do would be for everyone, I hope you've had a chance to take a look at the minutes, correct? Are there any questions, comments, concerns, or revisions?
No.
If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
And Tracy's like, no, they're taking up the door. I move it too fast, you got me?
No, you're good.
Okay, great. So I'm going to move right along to the new business section. We all individually introduced ourselves to Matt, who's a new member of our board. But Matt, I'd like to give you an opportunity just to tell us a little bit about where you work and what inspired you to join the ADA board.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you everybody for having me here, and looking forward to working with all of you. I work with Jim over at Bennett, worked there for 21 years, and a lifelong resident of Auburn, and just glad to be part of this and be part of improvements that it can bring to Auburn.
This is the place to be.
Yeah, clearly.
It brought to my attention that I asked you all if you were ready to approve the minutes, but we didn't vote on them. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go back and do that. So again, I would entertain a motion to accept or approve our minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Cuddy. And a second?
Second.
Got it. We got two. Pick one, Tracy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Any opposition? Abstention?
I'll abstain, I was not present.
Okay. Thank you. And then, Tracy, do we have Matt abstain for a while for those minutes because he wasn't at that meeting? So Matt, just for this meeting, we'll mark you as an abstention.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next thing on our agenda is, Tracy, do you have some project overviews for us?
Oh, yes, I do.
Let's go.
Let me find them here. So there are 2 projects that are kind of in the pipeline, expect potentially applications next month, that I just wanted to get in front of the board to assess any questions or concerns that you might have. The first one is from Indus Hospitality Group. They are a Rochester-based development firm, a lot of hospitality development that they do, but they also stay involved in the operation of their facilities. So they're very hands-on. They have a number of properties throughout New York State. What they're proposing here is an extended stay hotel under the Marriott flag, and they're looking to do that on Grant Ave. So it's, this parcel here is like across from O'Reilly's and next to the Dempsey Insurance Building, kind of behind where like Empower Federal Credit Union is, by Harry's. Harry's is like, oh, it's Harry's. So this property has 2 residential buildings on it, but both have been vacant for a very long time, and are perhaps, I don't know their condition, but they've been vacant for a very long time.
Yeah, Tracy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I don't want
No,
to sound like a smart aleck. That is ESF now, no credit.
ESL, yes.
Yes.
It was Empower's ESL now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, the one that's on North Stewart.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Empower's on State Street. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
sorry. I'm
well, oh, yes, you're right. It was a
Yeah.
former generation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
No,
My mistake.
No, I just wanted to make sure we were all
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
No, that's, you're absolutely correct. I confused the two.
Yes, I've done that before.
I'm sure, it's nice to meet you on what I'm sure being board. So, Trish, would you like to have first thing for me?
Ryan.
Ryan, is that into the table? Sure.
Sorry about the
Is that-
Well, actually, do you want just to hop in wherever? Here's the chair.
Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you.
Ready to handle like some business.
We are almost at your project. So this, yes, that's the former generation, not Empower. And so the plan would be to demolish these 2 buildings and build the hotel.
Tracy, I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm sorry,
Yes,
I'm sorry. Those are houses, correct?
it's a house and then it's kind of like an ADU, like it's an accessory dwelling unit, there's like an apartment back there.
Okay.
But both have been vacant for
Yeah,
quite some time.
they have been.
Yeah, so, the plan would be to demolish those, and there's plenty of space on that lot for parking and the amenities that they're looking to do. I did talk to Courtney at the tourism office, just to kind of get her sense of things. She thinks the market would absorb these rooms. It's a different type of offering, although I wouldn't say it's not competition for other hotels. It is competition for other hotels, but it is also a different type of offering that can bring it in or accommodate different types of visitors. So, we're not looking at a situation where we think it'll be like they're gonna monopolize or cannibalize. Like, it's really creating more opportunity at this point. The other thing about Marriott is, you know, we don't have a Marriott, so it also appeals to loyalty customers. There's actually data that the tourism office can't access unless we have a certain number of flagged hotels. So this will also help us get to that threshold. It won't quite get us there, but it'll help get us to that threshold. It is 89 rooms, so it's significant. They would be suites with dishwasher, stovetop, et cetera. My favorite was the master light switch. So there's one light switch that you can actually just turn off to control all the lights in the hotel instead of all the stupid little lamps that you have to figure out. And you can just like shut them all off when you leave the room. Anyway, that was my personal favorite. I did go visit the property they just finished in Rochester, because I was in Rochester anyway, so I actually met with him there. They did just complete a town place suite, outside of Rochester. I took a tour of the property. It's been open since December. It's doing very well. Rates are very comparable to the other hotels we have, so we're not talking about something that would be out of the range that we have. And, they do like actual brick and mortar. They do like concrete and steel buildings. They don't do stick builds. And they very much, according to other IDA directors I've talked to, they're good community partners. They take care of their properties, and they continue to be engaged in the operation of the property. So, that with the potential fiscal benefits, you know, I just wanted to lay it all out there and see if there's any questions, or concerns that we should be aware of as we're getting into an application with them.
Tracy, can I start by, can you bring it back down a little bit so I can see the picture? The thing that concerns me, which directly across the street, if I'm correct, the mayor and Terry can probably help me with it. Directly across the street, isn't that where, a developer wanted to, pardon me?
Overflow?
No, where they wanted to build, developer wanted to build the chicken joint.
Oh, Popeyes?
Yeah.
So we own here. Blue Springer owns this, and this. The topography there is very challenging. It's, I'd say 30, 40 feet below street
Right.
level. We did have a developer that was interested, and ultimately they backed out. As far as I know, we haven't had any hard inquiries into our piece of property that we own there. I don't know if Mr. Springer has or not.
I just wonder, because this has to go through, so developers always wait to see if they're gonna get benefits.
They're already talking to the planning department for the
Okay.
site plan, so they've actually already started that process.
Okay. So you don't see any problems with traffic flow or any of that?
I am not an expert in that. If there was gonna be a potential issue, I'm sure that this is probably a DOT regulated road, right?
Absolutely.
So
It's
state
state
DOT
highway.
would be, as part of that site plan process, would be, what's the word I'm looking for, asked.
Yeah, they probably have to sign off on that, I would imagine, yeah.
So I imagine any issues like that.
That's all I was wondering, because it's always discouraging when you see a property, I mean, there's about Popeye chicken, but something like this that's substantial, is gonna bring some jobs in, and take what's a blighted property right now and make it, usable, and so, I just hope there's not gonna be a roadblock.
I mean, again, I'm not an expert, but I was actually thinking about this after I looked at the agenda today. I think traffic-wise, it's a good fit, because with a hotel, you don't have time in and out.
That's
Like you do with a fast food
Right.
restaurant. And that is challenging, you're right, there's a hill there. So you're from here, you're coming over the hill. All right. That was my take, I guess I'm not an expert, it's got to
It's
for
not-
planning and DOT.
It's not like Fast Track and, the tire joint there. It's not right on the light, so you have some room before the light. I know when I have, guests, I'll ask them in the morning, does anyone need a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts? And getting out of there at like 8 in the morning can be challenging, but this is back away from the light, so that's good.
So Tracy, kind of what I'm hearing thematically, I'm not hearing, let me clarify what I'm hearing. One of the things that we would just want to pay attention to as this is unfolded would be impact on traffic and how that will be managed or dealt with as that's going on. So we all had an opportunity to take a high-level look at this project. Courtney, I saw that you had something on your mind.
I do. Just a few things really quick. Tracy, in Rochester, where Marriott was just built, correct?
Yep.
What part of Rochester? Because I'm going there next month, so I'd like to see it if I'm in the area.
It is,
I'm going by Henrietta,
it's like near Henrietta.
Perfect. and I'm not surprised either.
It is,
Have you ever stayed at one, Jimmy, in your
Salt
travels?
Lake City this past summer, yeah.
Your business, right? Courtney, that'll be.
No worries, that's
Yeah,
something I can Google, you gave me enough information.
I can send the address out.
Perfect,
Drive.
and no rush either.
There's a couple. Oh, this one.
And I know, we were just discussing the traffic flow in that area, and I do know with my experience of going to hotels over the years, when there is a hotel that I'm staying at, and there is many other businesses in the surrounding area, I won't drive, we'll just walk. Like for dinner,
Right.
get the kids
Yeah.
dinner, coffee, whatever.
Always the best way.
Mm-hmm.
So Tracy, you'll just send that.
Yeah,
address
I'll
over
send
and
the,
Go gather some more intel for us.
yeah, actually, you know what?
So again, we had an opportunity, Tracy, were you going to, if I get that here, just scroll up to, what it is they're seeking from us. Karen, did you have a question related to the location? I do. Okay, Tracy, want to go back just for a minute? Thank you, and then you can tell us more about what it is they're going to be potentially seeking. Right ahead, Karen.
I get a question. Yeah. When you started, you said they stayed involved with the first project. Their, community-based development, they stay involved with the
Operations,
the
like
operation.
like the day-to-day operations of the building, like they know who's managing it, they know the people.
And I do know that will require a New York State DOT highway permit. And it will, and there had been a request that was, for the planning board, but it was for, I believe it was a, oil change type operation, and that was, died, it didn't even get to the highway permit stage. Planning had reached out and said, what we're seeing, do you see it this way too? And they responded yes, and then the application. So, there will be that type of, yeah. But my question is, would it be prudent to see any board goes with their application and then we come in at the end? Or is it such a thing that as a developer, they want to know what kind of money's on the table?
So we wouldn't approve any benefits until they're through the site plan anyway. So what we aim to do is be in a place that we have the initial application, the initial resolution done, we have our public hearing done. So when their site plan approval comes through with the seeker, we are in a position to, at our next meeting, vote on the final resolution. So what we would be doing would be to line it up for them, but we wouldn't actually approve anything until their site plan is done. And that just helps with the timeline to do those in parallel, because we need the city seeker to do it anyway. So we would just be running parallel to it.
Yeah.
But if their site plan doesn't go through, we don't do anything.
So we understand where this is, they're proposing to geographically locate the property. Tracy, I see that the next page, you're going to talk to us about what, incentives they're looking for from us.
Yes, so they are looking for the full kit and caboodle, the pilot, sales tax, mortgage recording tax. I did share with him the new UTEP, and his initial feedback was that they would like the enhanced version, for reusing a underutilized property. That's a 13-year pilot, I believe, for commercial projects, so it sounded like he needs to crunch the numbers, but it sounded like he was gonna be happy with, or be requesting that enhanced pilot, rather than coming back and asking for something longer. But that would be an important component to it.
So, and again, this is just for our information, so that we have shared understanding of what this prospective project would be for us. But I also like that we're thinking about it now, so that as it unfolds, you can be thinking about any questions or concerns, and we can be feeding those up to Tracy as moving along. And Tracy, if you want to speak to a perspective about the benefits to the community?
Yeah, so this is, again, it's a unique product. Some of our existing hotels have suites, but they tend to be higher end, higher price, whereas an extended stay is more like, hey, similar pricing, but a little more space, has those amenities like kitchenette amenities. And, you know, those are actually really great spaces for, say, like construction workers. So, you know, if there's a construction project going on during the summer season, this is a great place for construction workers to be because it has those amenities as opposed to a Hilton Garden Inn where we really want our tourists to be. And that's not to say there wouldn't be construction workers or ever, it's just another option. And Also longer-term travelers. I'm thinking families who come into town to take care of their parents for an extended period of time, but not permanently. Thinking people who are coming back and forth for business that are staying for longer. I know the Hilton Garden Inn does a lot of business visitors, but, you know, that's probably more overnight, like 2 or 3 nights at a time. So it's really just like a good extra option. And then we're talking about, you know, the pilot would mean increases in property taxes to their full new assessment, which could be substantial based on the amount of money they're talking about, for their project cost. And, then also new sales tax, new bed tax, and, spending as local businesses. Obviously, visitors come in, that's new money into the community. So those are all fiscal benefits as well.
Other questions just regarding the high-level overview?
Yeah, have they said, as far as employment, how many employees it would?
I do not have that number yet. He didn't mention how many are at the one in Rochester, which is at 350 Kenneth Drive, Rochester, New York.
350 Kenneth?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. You were right. I imagine it would be very similar to that one. But I don't have a specific. It's probably gonna be less than you think.
Yeah.
Hotels are
right.
like that.
Sure.
But still some good.
They didn't have any issues with any of our,
The local labor.
yes, thanks.
No, I talked to him about that because they're used to dealing with that. I told him to look hard at that before he submits his application. So if there are any waivers that are needed, we can address that up front. So he's gonna work with, his contractors and just figure out what the need might be. But he didn't seem to have an initial issue with it. Like, there's nothing like, he's not gonna be bringing in pavers or buying anything local labor for all sorts of stuff.
So this is exciting news in terms of how we conduct our business. And then we have another project to consider.
Yes.
Boy, this is a fun meeting.
Yeah, right?
Right? But we did that hard work. I was thinking about that.
So this one, 28 Aurelia, so Ryan Benz here is the developer.
Welcome, Ryan.
Ryan.
Can we just quickly go around and let Ryan know who's in the room today?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So Ryan, I'm Gwen Weber McLeod. I'm the chair of the ADA board. Bill, would you go next?
I'm Bill Andre, I'm the representative of Paper.
I'm Matthew DeFavro, representative of Industry, right? Yeah, I just started my first.
Just for a second.
Thank you.
I'm Jimmy, Mayor of City Hall.
I'm Terry, I'm the city council.
Courtney, I'm a committee member. Nice to meet you.
Aaron Walter, at-large member.
Ryan Benz with REDC1. I'm excited to hear my introduction, so I would.
So welcome. Tracy, would you like to set the context for Ryan? Thank you.
And just so you know, Tessa Crawford, another one of our board members is online, and our lawyer, Rob, who you had the joyous meeting as well. Okay, so hi, Tessa. So this project is really exciting from like a community perspective. It is, the idea is to take the buildings at 28 Earliest Avenue, the 2 prior industrial commercial buildings, pretty poor shape, need a lot of cleanup, and converting them into 40 affordable condos. This would be done with a program called AHOP, Affordable Housing Opportunity Program, and so there would actually be income restrictions on who can purchase those condos, and it's in the 80 to 100% range, right? And so we're talking about workforce condos. This is a product we don't have in Auburn, and it would certainly help to fill a gap we're seeing with middle income and workforce housing. There'd be a lot of work done to these buildings to clean them up and split them up into condos. But at the end of the day, you're talking about households in the $60,000 to $100,000 range, which is a space that's really hard in the market right now. So Ryan and Redev CMY has done this with 4 other projects at this point. They've gotten benefits from 4 other IDAs.
This would be our fourth.
This would be the 4th?
Yes.
Okay. 3 other IDAs. The thing about condos is that they need to be approved. So you build the condos, and at the end, they get approved by the Attorney General's office to become condos. So it's a multifamily project, and then it becomes condoized at the end. This particular project, you'd be looking for sales and use tax and mortgage reporting tax only. There would not be a pilot involved, so it's really to help with that upfront cost of development. And then the IDA would be removed from the process at the end of the construction period, with the exception of a little bit of reporting thereafter. I did want to bring this to the board to get some initial thoughts and questions, because it is outside of our brand new UTEP, and that they are condos, which means they will be owned. And, you know, that's a little bit of a gray area. And obviously, other IDAs have done this and made this case not necessarily been legally tested in terms of, like, the OSC coming in and doing an audit, or in terms of there being an opinion. However, it is somewhat comforting that an Attorney General has looked at these projects and said, like, yep, this could be a condo, and not mentioned anything about the IDA being involved. I wouldn't call that a legal test, but it is.
Precedent.
It is something. So basically, I wanted to get a feel for the board and how you feel about what is still somewhat of a gray area. I will say the state legislature, there's a bill going around right now to very clearly define how IDAs work in housing, and that would be wonderful. So we might have more clarity about that this year.
Well, I mean, I'll say, like, this, to me, is an exciting project.
Yes, 100%.
It is, I would say, in the spirit of what we're trying to do to, you know, be a business-friendly, working, family-friendly community. Housing and council and workforce development committee for Micron, all of these, being on ADA, has been, you know, it's the same thing. We're hearing it over and over again. That's why we updated the UTEP. I think this is in the spirit of what we're trying to do. I'm just going to say I like what I hear. You know, it's good to hear that other IDAs have seen the value in your projects. So, I mean, you want to get a feel. Hopefully, I communicated how I feel about the project.
Yes, and Ryan, if you would like to give us any other insights, and you can see we're very involved and engaged.
I appreciate it.
Buckle up, there'll probably be some questions.
I can handle it.
I know you
Can
can.
I just add a quick comment, Ryan? Can you give me some insight on where your other projects are?
Yeah, and I want to clarify too, we did not do the New Rochelle or Weston, that was actually a different developer.
Oh.
So somebody else, was able to utilize the idea. We've done 2 in Syracuse, Rochester, and this will be our 4th year.
Okay.
I love this
Like,
program.
my
Yeah.
problem.
This program, I think, is a meaningful solution to creating the gap in homeownership. That's the whole point of this. And if you look at the income bands, it's focused on 60, yeah, it technically would be less than 100% of AMI, but it's priced affordable at 80%, and then it's a 20% band. So you realize, these are gonna cost us $400,000 to $420,000 per unit. That's every unit right now, how much it costs us to build, and that's utilizing old buildings to convert them into brand new condos. It's $400,000 to $425,000. On other projects, we've utilized brownfield tax credits, Oak Chip in Onondaga County, Rochester, we got the IDA benefits. It's like, still, like every affordable project, we call it alphabet soup. Like, well, how do you close this gap here? And the secret sauce, you know, it's funny, because you think about UTEPs and utilizing IDA benefits on housing. And if it's a rental project or low-income housing, or even market rentals, you can use it, you know, but when it gets to homeownership, That's where the great question comes in. So let me first address the idea of, well, how have other IDAs looked at this? And it's the idea that it's a point in time test. At the time of when we begin construction, it's a multifamily residential project. It's a 40-unit multifamily residential project. The building itself does not become condo until the Attorney General approves the condo, which happens after we get our certificate of occupancy. So during that test, during that period of time, it's a multifamily project, and that's what has passed the SNF test. And then I'll simply kind of, to put the bow on what I was saying, if we collectively are trying to get our families out of poverty, and we need to help them stop renting and present opportunities for them to afford a bond. And right now, if you want a quality house, like I said, it's going to cost you brand new $400 to $500 for single family. So this is the only way I've been able to find ways to create homeownership opportunities for the working class families to build their way out, build equity, get out of generational poverty. This is the only program that I'm doing that does this. And there's a new program called Block by Block, which I'm sure you'll be hearing more about if you haven't already. That's for single family homes, and the subsidies more, but you sell at a lower income level. So there's a couple different programs that New York State launched in 2023 when all of these came out. Very proud my company was the first one in New York State, despite these other ones, that utilized this program. We bought an elementary school in East Syracuse. We converted it to 21 units. So that project is fully stable. We're selling and we're closing them right now, and that's all done. And if you want to see pictures of the finishes, they're really beautiful. 100% electric. I mean, stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, really luxury tile floors in the restrooms. Like, they're really, really nice. And I love that building because it's across the street from East Syracuse Elementary. So I have 8 two-bedroom units there where when I built it, I'm like, single parents with young children, this is a home run for them. That makes $70,000 a year. They'll never be able to buy absent a discount and subsidy program. And we have a market study, a new market prepared. We have a fantastic design team in place. Delphos runs, Delphos is our architect. CNS Engineering is our civil engineer. They did this is not a brownfield site, despite it being in the BOA. We will not be participating in brownfield on this one. I can go through it, but it's a really meaningful project that creates homeownership opportunities for working families. And we feel there's a legal basis for it, and that's what we do today. And I'll also say, construction costs are frustrating, and so this makes a meaningful difference, specifically sales and use tax. Like waiving 8% off of 65% of your project cost goes a long way. Yeah. So that's the biggest reason why we do it.
And where's your company located?
Yeah, we have 3 divisions. I run development. I'm the founder of the whole thing. I run our development team, which is me and like 2 other people. We have a construction company, so we generally self-build. We are a WBE certified GC, so a partner, she runs our construction company. And then I recently started a residential brokerage division to sell all the units. So I have another partner that runs that for us as well.
So again, you all have an opportunity to take a high-level look at this. You have questions, what's going on in your head, you're already set up. Go ahead, Mayor.
Did you just do the candle factory in Syracuse? Is that yours?
I did, not the candle factory, but if you are familiar with Syracuse, there's a large building across the street from Destiny USA that has a house on it. It's called the Penfield Manufacturing.
I know that.
I did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a $65 million deal. We did in partnership with Housing Visions. Wonderful humans, good friends of mine. Kathy Charity's partner on that deal. That was Brownfield, Eshai, like 8 different sources to get that deal put together, but yes, there you go.
So, once you complete them, you sell them, do you have on-site property managers?
We do. Third parties are contracted to manage the day-to-day, maintenance, HOA fees, plowing, salting, all that kind of stuff.
Do you currently own the properties, or are you in the process of buying them?
This one here, we are in contract. Without oversharing, the current owner is in a bit of a financial challenge with the property. He's really far behind. So we are going to close cash on this property in March. We're doing that so that the bank does not put a lien in foreclose on the property. So we're going to, I think, pay cash for it. It might change a little. Maybe I might not be looking for the mortgage recording extensions for that. I might just pay cash. When we close on our construction, which is probably Q3 of this year, based off where we are in the HCR review, that's when we'll put a mortgage on the property, and that's what. So I'll be paid. So I don't know the nominee contract, and I'll close next month.
So I'm a runner, and I was actually, earlier this week, I ran down that way because we have a playground project, which I'm sure you know. Yep, that bridge is gonna be replaced in the next few years, I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you're gonna have a closed bridge there for a while, so hopefully it doesn't discourage you. But we also have a couple blocks away, partners at Auburn Housing Authority who are buying up single family and multifamily standalone units and rehabbing them one at a time. So I believe that's an area that has a lot of potential. It's a real cool area down there.
Great, yeah.
That industrial look to it, it's quiet down there.
You can hear the water, you can hear the water.
I love the designs, my architect, we've done historic buildings at Penfield, and he said this is probably the toughest building that I've gone in so far, specifically the back building here. We call it the front one the north, the back one is the south, but it's made up of like 5 different buildings at different elevations. And so from an accessibility perspective, it's been a challenge, and just how do you link it all together? Also in a way that has parking, so that you're not walking from the parking lot all the way around to the backside. So we've spent like logistical, people smarter than I are trying to figure this out. But a couple of our units I love, that they're walk-up patios right to the water, you know, right there. And you know that south building, the back building, it butts right up to the water. It's also outside of the 100-year floodplain, so we felt comfortable, you know, designing there and having.
You know, in addition to being in local government, I work at a company here in town that employs 200 people, Matt actually works there as well. And I know for some of our younger employees, it's a challenge to find good housing, not only to rent. It's impossible to find a place to buy. And I'll use my nephew as an example, who actually works with us. He tried for 2 years to find a house that he could afford to buy, and it couldn't happen. And that, I sound like the old guy, that generation often doesn't want to actually own a house per se. They want to own something, but they don't want to take care of a yard. They don't want to shovel snow. And we don't have that here. My son lives in Nashville. That's what he lives in.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have that available here. I think it prevents us from bringing young people here and keeping them.
We've had both a lot of interest from young professionals, as you described, and a lot of seniors, honestly, too. Now, there's two requirements. We spoke a lot about the income requirement of being less than 100% of AMI. So if there's a senior that's on Social Security, they're less than 100% of AMI, even if they make $27,000 a year. The other requirement is that you have to have a net worth of less than $100,000, excluding educational savings, so excluding like 529 accounts, and excluding 401ks and retirement. And that's where some seniors have found this is their sweet spot. So they might be on Social Security, and they may have a net worth because their assets are in retirement accounts. They can pull from their retirement account to put down a down payment on this condo, which goes back to the quality of life. They're not taking care of the outside properties and all those things. To pay down their mortgage enough so that, because you can't pay cash for it, but you can pay down enough so that your annual expense is less than 30% of your annual income. So we've had a couple of seniors that have played that game a little bit, realizing they're eligible based off of the criteria, but they can pay it down in a way that they're still spending 30%.
Any other questions, just based on your high-level overview?
Yes. So, this is in the general commercial district, and both apartment complexes and dwelling, multiple family, 5 or more units are allowed. Which would this be? So, whether it would be considered an apartment complex?
It would probably be a multiple family dwelling over 5 units. That's probably what it's going to be.
We've had cursory conversations with the city, already. I know, Jenny's in support of it. We spoke with, planning, and we've kind of been flirting with this for the better part of a year, so we have had enough comfort to understand the zoning that will be okay, but exactly, my architects will finalize that when we go through the planning.
Angela did want me to make clear to you that she is very much in support of the project. And before you ask your next question, I just want to make clear, I think this is a great project. However, it's also my job to make sure you're aware of what we're talking about. So when I say it's a legal gray area, it's not me trying to discourage you, it's me.
Yeah, you get, yeah.
So,
We appreciate it.
it's a
We
great
get it.
project.
Yeah, we get it.
I looked at your website, so it seems like you partner with, housing headquarters,
Oh, yeah,
as well as Housing Vision.
we partner with both in different ways.
Right, do you know which one this one would be with?
Well, so we would be the developers, 100%. It's one of the requirements through going through the AHOP approval process with New York State Homes and Community Renewal. You're required to bring in a HUD-certified financial counselor. In Central New York, home headquarters acts in that role. Now, something we spoke about with Stephanie at the Housing Authority here, and with the Allen Family Foundation, and with home headquarters, is all buyers for these units and for the block by block, which is what the Housing Authority is looking at doing down the street, is all buyers must complete a home buyer course. Now, that's where home headquarters has stepped in, because in Central New York, that's what they do. They do the home buyer certification. And so we said, well, who's doing that in Auburn, and how can we leverage those assets to bring those to Auburn? And I'm not going to jump on anybody's news, but I'll say we have committed $10,000 over 2 years to bring, I think it's 16 classes to Auburn to begin to prepare residents for the future purchasing of the units themselves.
Great.
So the Allen Family Foundation worked with Stephanie and team to put that program in place, and then they came and said, we're going to split the cost with us. And that was
Great.
So that's their goal.
Home headquarters be the ones that do that course?
I think you're looking at either home headquarters or somebody else. So these are not, please don't
It's
disclose
not,
these. I
okay,
realize this
no,
is
no,
a
no,
long
no,
time,
it's
but
fine, no, I'm
Yeah.
just trying, because I did read that, about the disclosures and so forth. So then, you're the developer, you've got, architect is Delta, CNS for the construction,
CNS for the site work
site.
and all of our environmental. And then
Okay.
a company called IPD Engineering, which
Gotcha.
is a subsidiary of VIP Structures, is our mechanical.
Right, and then who does the building?
We'll self-perform, my WPD general contractor.
Right.
If there's local labor, we're doing that in Rochester right now, that's absolutely fine, and we don't self-perform any work, we sub everything out. So we work with local subs as it is. And then as part of that, for New York requirements, we're required to utilize WMBE goals, we make sure that the full community is represented, including, service disabled veterans are part of that as well. So it's the trifecta.
And then, for the on-site air, once they're built, who do we have to do that?
Goodness, I have one company doing our two in Syracuse called TJMG Properties. They manage most of the condos in Syracuse. I don't know if they come this far yet, but I'll figure that out as we get closer to the
Okay.
best management.
Now, having grown up in this area.
Yeah, you're right down the street, yeah, trying.
I'm well aware of the various industries that, was occupied those buildings, whether they were, plastic, leg mannequins. Remember driving by at the Hollywood restaurant and seeing the leg mannequins
Yeah.
out there in the.
Yeah,
the
I remember it
cage?
well, yeah.
I'm just saying, and there was also a smelting, portion of the back buildings. In 1965, my husband worked as a lead smelter. So, does that have this rise to brownfield,
Good question.
or have you, kind of aware of that
No, I am
historical
aware.
anecdote?
I am aware of it.
Okay,
We've done a phase 1 as well as a phase 2 environmental report on the project.
okay.
All of those studies, one was completed by CNS, then we had the last, JEM Engineering, another engineering firm, who did our phase 2. Those reports recommended what's called a soil vapor intrusion test, to complement and to be designed as part of the construction in the future. Based off the current studies, CNS engineers who did, when we did the Penfield building, they looked at the house on it, they were our brownfield consultants, and we just finished up, if you're curious, we just, go to our website, 1117 West Fayette Street is another brownfield site where they were our consultants on that one as well.
Okay.
They reviewed this project for me last year and determined that the project does not qualify for the brownfield program. It's just not as contaminated as required. The DEC changed their regulations and actually made it more stringent to participate in the program as of January 1st this year. So I knew they changed their restrictions, but I actually thought they loosened it. So I went back to CNS and I said, hey guys, now can I? Hoping that helps close the financial gap. And they said, no, it's actually harder, you're definitely not that.
Okay.
And so we will design and install a soil vapor intrusion as part of that. There will be lead-based paint remediation and abatement throughout the process, along with asbestos, along with what's called PCBs, all hazardous materials, and then with those things, again, this is New York, so like, there's a lot of regulatory, we have to say all of the manifests, you know, showing what equipment was on, sorry to get the details. My answer is no, it's not.
Exactly what she wants to know.
we're ready.
I wish it was, it's not,
I'm always learning.
Yeah, no, it's,
So indulge me this time. Thank you.
yeah, we'll make sure it's well protected, and that'll be a requirement before we start construction on what our plan is, as well as on the backside, before we're let off. And see, I have to sign off all these things, which is reviewed by the environmental division within HCR, and, we've, perfect track record, and,
Anything else?
Yes, I'd just like to make a few comments. When you said the home ownership program, and I just wanted to tell you, that would be very good to come to Auburn, because I think the two locations that our first-time home owners would have to go to is actually Syracuse and Ithaca, if I'm right, if I did my homework right.
I think you're right. I think it's the Ithaca one is the other one that we're looking at to bring up here.
Mm-hmm. So I think that that would be a great idea. And I do want to ask you, you said East Syracuse was your most recent project, correct?
Our first one, yeah.
Your first one, okay. And it was a elementary school?
It was, St. Matthew's Elementary.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah, right in the village of East Syracuse.
Okay, so the east side, very good. And then I do have another question regarding the condos. How many bedrooms is the max for a condo?
2. No, that's a lie. I have 3.
1, 2, and 3.
I think I have 3 in this. Yeah, I think we have 4 3-units. I can go back and look at mine, but I think that's what it is. It's about 20 are 1 bedrooms, and then we split like 50 or 60 2 bedrooms, and then 4 3 bedrooms. So,
Okay.
and then 20% of them will be designed for individuals with mobility impairments, so wheelchairs or walkers or golden showers to use their lower countenance.
And that's also needed as well. So thank you for adding that.
So, I feel like you just put to the ringer, right?
This probably wasn't even a diagram plan.
And that's what we do. We really do this, to make sure that we're just in alignment with our regulations, but we also are being very, intentional about the projects we support, because we want it to be obvious to us that it'll be bettering the community. So I think we've got some really good vibes out the gate. And Tracy, you will be working with Ryan to facilitate moving forward with the process. Mayor, anyone else have anything before we go?
Yeah, I would just, it's not about this project. That Penfield building always amazed me when I heard about it on Syracuse News, and that's where I heard the name of your company. When I saw it yesterday when I was going through the paperwork. How many units in that building?
120. And then we did 50 units with Catholic Charities for domestic violence victims and,
Great.
serious mental illnesses.
That's good stuff. And the house on top is 1 too? What
No,
do
it's
you
all architectural gimmick, so it frames the old freight elevator, like the shaft, the elevator equipment is what it was used for. Now we utilize historic tax credits on that, and as part of that, we were required, but it's also just an icon in Syracuse to use the house, so we rebuilt it.
Yeah, I still remember that fondly, because when my son was 4, 5, 6, he used to go bonkers every time we went over there well, back then when it was Chiefs. He'd go bonkers and said he wanted to be an Auburn garbage man when he grew up. And he was gonna buy that house, and I used to kid with him. I said, Jeff, that's an awful long drive on a garbage man's pay, although it is
Residency
good.
bill, residency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, I never thought of that. But he used to go bonkers. He wanted to live in that house so bad. He could afford it now because he's a nuclear engineer, so he can afford it now. But there's not a house. I'll have to tell him that.
Unfortunately not, yeah. Don't break his heart now, it's gone too far.
Yeah. I just let him continue with his dream.
Matt, do you have anything before we?
I don't.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for
Good
joining us.
stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
I think this is exciting.
We appreciate it, yes. Thank you, Matt.
I was
Thank you,
impressed,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Thanks so much.
And I was wondering about a couple of the projects over in Syracuse, so now I know.
We'll probably have an elementary school for you in another 5 years. We will. I'm not sure, but we will. way too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have 240 kids graduating from that high school. We will have another building.
All right. Tracy,
Right, 5 years.
you changed the UTEP, and here they come.
I'm excited about the possibilities of these, so good questions for it.
Did Tessa leave us?
We always want to make sure that we're getting our questions.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, she has to have off,
Probably had to go out to sunny Chicago.
something like that.
Yeah.
Lakeshore Drive.
So Tracy, do you want to head right into the unfinished business?
Yes. Would you like more time to look at the committee? Because you just found out about them yesterday.
No, I'm good.
What would you like to do, Matt?
Oh, no, I mean, I want to still consider what I want to do. Yeah, I did look over them, but I still need to.
Okay, so I am actually gonna recommend that we hold off on this.
You're the
Okay, that's
vision
fine.
of the universe, let us be
Damn right.
I'm sorry for confusing. Are we good, Tracy?
So what I'm gonna do, I just learned today that I have a touch screen and now I keep touching my screen by accident. So I'm gonna say, let's, table the audit and marketing committee appointment for
Right.
next month. So Matt has some time to think about it. But also, we think about people not on the board that we should put on the marketing committee. Cause that would be a great way to fill out that committee, to bring in some outside and maybe, you know, create a pipeline of board members.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So if you have
so-
people in your network that could support the committee, that would be great. I think we laid out some things that we'd like to see our board do, that committee do, in addition to just making sure social media and stuff. But I think we're in a really great position. Tracy presented us with an idea where we can literally be a convener about conversations that would be helpful to us working on that part of our strategic priorities, talk about attracting business to Auburn. I think as the more I'm involved with everybody's planning project right now, I'm recognizing that there's a lot to talk about, that's connected to economic development, that no one's catalyzing those conversations. So that's something, I'm hoping we can get the marketing committee up, and that Mayor, you would also be supportive of us positioning ourselves.
There's a young lady that does marketing for ERHC, Chuck talks about all the time, and I can't remember her name. I'll ask
I can
Chuck.
find out.
Yeah,
Who is that, Jimmy?
there's a young lady that works over, she does marketing for the Eagle Rice Heritage Center.
Oh, okay.
And Chuck's mentioned her to me a couple of times.
I'm thinking of a couple of people that would be interesting, and would be great to create a pipeline.
Yeah. And it would be good to have people from different industries too,
sure.
having someone from tourism, someone from.
As we're pitching this, I would say that I see this as a great opportunity for a company that's investing in their, high potential professionals. That if they have someone in that industry, and it's an industry that aligns with our board seat here, I think we should really position this as an opportunity for a high potential young professional that has interest in this area, so. To be enough.
Yeah, and I would envision that group, because people are gonna ask, I would envision that group probably meeting 4 to 5 times a month, maybe not every other month, but.
Even your trip,
4 or 5 times a year.
I think nobody meets 4 or 5 times a
Yeah.
month.
It's probably more of like a quarterly
Right.
group.
City council conducted.
No way to talk anyone into it, Tracy.
My bad.
Is it paid better?
Why, you think about switching jobs there?
And, you know, we like to, for our committees, we do want them to be hour meetings, so we'll try to keep that on track. So if people ask, and I'm happy to talk to people. So, let's table that. Technical services proposals. In the new updated packet, I included an overview of a summary of the proposals that came in, and then my recommendations for them. This one that I said probably do not qualify, I haven't gotten their example yet, so, I would say at this point, that's probably a don't qualify. But of the group, you know, we had 9 responses. I think 6 of them are qualified to do this work. Some of them, full disclosure, I do know better than others, like I have actual experience with them. Others are out of the area and I have not worked with directly, so, the ones that I am recommending not to qualify, it's really a matter of not seeing this particular set of work from those groups. And some of it might be less than good proposal writing.
Right.
Like Harrison Studio, I think probably could do this work. I just didn't see in the proposal and the examples that they're using these skill sets in the way that we want them to, and that they have that experience in this specific area. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm coming from here. It's just like, from the proposals, who do I think has the experience, has the data sets, has, you know, really understands what we're asking for. And that's how I approached it. So, happy to answer any questions.
Tracy, did you have an opportunity to let Matt know why we're doing this?
I did talk to Matt about this yesterday.
What did you do in orientation?
I did not send him the proposals, but like I said, I would.
Very
But,
good.
he does understand what we're asking for here.
And Matt, we are always open to your questions.
Okay.
Connect with Tracy, you can put them right in the middle of this table, so don't ever be hesitant.
Okay.
And we believe that whatever's on your heart and mind is okay.
Okay, great.
As you would probably tell.
Yeah.
That's the kind of board culture I'm interested in. But, all right, Tracy, so do you need anything from us as it relates to this?
So what I would like to do, if you don't need any more time to review, is to have a motion to qualify the recommended firm, or if you did want to qualify another firm or whatever, disqualify a firm. But I would like to do a motion to have a list of qualified firms.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Bill. Can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Karen. Any more discussion? Tracy, you did really good work on this.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Extension?
Great. For as quick as that was, it took an awful lot of time.
Because you did something, you did good
Exactly,
work.
right. I think about that all the time.
Because you care about what you do.
That's right.
Yes, yes, I do. This is definitely an area where, so the next thing on the agenda is the letter in review. As you remember from last year, oh my gosh, the last meeting, the chairwoman had put together a letter of the year in review and wanted to revisit this to just see if there are any questions or comments, or concerns about releasing this as like kind of a more public, like send it to the citizen as a, here's what Ada's been up to, here's what we're gonna do. Is that right?
That's exactly what I'm thinking about.
So I just wanted to put it on the agenda so we didn't forget to revisit it.
So you all had an opportunity to read it one more time with feeling, and so any questions, comments, concerns about the idea, about the content, of course, I might open to that, but as well as about my desire to release this as public information through the system.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a well-written letter. Thank you. I think it's important that the community knows what ADA is, what they do. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about ADA.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially around pilots.
Yeah.
About Seminary Commons, you know, from day one, they're paying more taxes than the previous owner was paying.
Right.
And as long as, the more we're out there, it's muscle memory.
Right.
And I just think with what's going on in North Syracuse, I think IDAs, surrounding area are going to become more and more important in the upcoming years. And I think it's great. And, you know, we had some challenges, and you're honest about that.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way with building confidence with the public. Hey, you know, we owned it, we fixed it, and we're going to be better.
Any other questions?
No, it's great. Great job. Really.
I agree. Thank you, Gwen.
You're welcome. And again, Mayor, you're really on top of my philosophy behind wanting to do something. I also think in our economic development environment locally right now, that it's really hard to tell what people are doing. And I think that we've really done great work at turning a corner from where we were to where we are now. And I also think we can still be assuring people that there is quality economic development work going on and that we're one of the partners in doing that. So I want us to be more public about that. I want us to be transparent about everything. And I want us to be very proud of what we're doing. So if we're comfortable with this, do we need to vote on this, Tracy? I would like permission from all of you to have Tracy organize this and send it to Robert And then, Mayor, I just wanted to ask you if he does follow up, or would you want me to refer him to your office, to you as a spokesperson, or would you want me to?
You're the chairwoman.
I felt like
Yeah,
that.
no, please do.
I make sure in my lane, as my children say, because I might need to get in your lane, I'm like, I'm gonna be in my lane. All right, well, thank you for, believing in my ability to do this and supporting this idea. And again, part of what I'm hoping I can inspire us to do in 2026 is to be more public about what we do and to position ourselves as leaders around topics that are of concern to us, even if they're outside of our strategic priorities. Anything going on in our local economic development environment impacts us. And I'm currently sitting on every planning committee in my capacity as the chair. And I'm really intrigued by how much we don't have shared understanding. And so I think if we can be thinking about that and using our marketing committee maybe as a vehicle to help us structure that, Tracy, I would also invite you to think about what are the conversations we should have. And then we can discern together whether or not we want to be the catalyst or the convener.
I think the two projects that we talked about tonight are, it's very timely, right? You're talking about this letter, talking about educating the public that we serve. People on the outside see the value of Auburn more than people in Auburn see the value of Auburn. It's a lifelong, generational problem. You know, the fact that Ryan sees value on the west end of town, in the old factory, like, that speaks volumes.
Right.
And, you know, I'll say I did have a conversation with one of the representatives of the company that bought Bombardier. It was a very productive conversation. They're actively marketing that piece. I think we're on the cusp of having some really great things happening.
So do I. I can feel it a little.
Yeah, I can too. And when I talk to somebody like Brian or the folks at Washington Street Partners, who are coming in from the outside and investing, they're like, they see the value of it.
Right.
That's great.
Well, great. So Tracy, I trust you to determine when you want to release this. It's not going to be if it needs to go out as a format from a press release, whatever, however you want to format it for deployment to the paper.
And just as a heads up, Robert had emailed me about our meeting packet, but then, a side note, he was asking about the plan that the county is talking about right now. And I think the result of that conversation is that he's actually probably gonna come to our March 2nd Economic Development Coordination meeting, and talk to the people who are around that table. And we're just gonna have a conversation about that budget request we made, what we were hoping for, what an outcome of a study like that would be, but also what we're doing to continue economic development right now. And that those things are still happening. So just a heads up that conversation is also coming, and Ada's gonna be part of that conversation via me, unless you tell me not to. But the idea being just to I think he's looking to understand what is happening, right, to your point exactly. So I think this actually is a nice complement to that conversation.
That works for me. I think we have a lot to be proud of, and we just need to talk about it. So, all right, thank you. I appreciate your support of that idea.
Next thing is a work plan. So I took the strategic framework. And so last month when we were talking about the strategic framework, you asked me to create a work plan to kind of boil that down into something digestible, and this is what I came up with. And it's broken down by our strategic priority areas, and it's just some of those tasks that are in that full framework, listed out with who's responsible and when we should be doing it. And so please do take a look at this. For this meeting in particular, I do want to, I don't remember if I put this on the agenda or not, but I do want to knock out really quick. We did some site visits last year. We had board meetings at, and I want to just knock that out really quick in deciding who we want to do that or where we want to do that this year. My thought was either this year or next year, visiting the new Beaumere or seeing if the new Beaumere facility, we could meet there to see it. I'm not sure where they are yet, so I would wanna ask them if they're ready for something like that, but, that would be a good option. Hilton's a good option, they have a nice little boardroom there. And then Tessie and, Plaza VR. Plaza VR is one, they're actually coming up on the end of their pilot. So it might just be good to check in with them and talk to them about, you know, been here for this many years now, where are we at? And I do think there's some transitioning happening at that building too, so, that might be a good one for this year. So I just wanted to get a sense of if these are good for you, or if there are other ones that you wanted to do this year.
I definitely think it's good for individuals like myself, a new board committee member, and yourself too, to be involved and go on these sites.
Tracy, I trust your recommendation of those locations.
Great. So I'll get started, and I'll look to get 3 of them set up. I'm probably gonna prioritize Bomir and, Plaza V Arts, just because they're new and almost over.
Right.
And then move on to the other 2 depending on, like if Bomir's not ready yet, I'll move on to one.
And I just want to ask a clarifying question, Tracy. We're going to definitely do the visits, and you're saying that out of those 3 or 4, we would request that we do it on our meeting.
Oh, yeah, so those are the 4 that I'm recommending. I'm recommending we do 3 board meetings
Right.
on site as our visits.
Got
And so these are the ones that I'm recommending that are good for this year for our board meetings, like we did with Seminary Commons and RICO and Prison.
it. Okay, I just want to make sure I understand.
And to be very clear, so many times that we'd like someone there to talk to us.
That part. That would be great, because that's why we're there.
So I'll work on that, and I'll get the 3 set up and keep you in the loop. And we just checked off something in our work plan for the year.
Yeah.
So I'll work on scheduling those site visits, for next year, or for next month. My time-based vocabulary is very bad right now. For next month, I might push this out a little bit. I was thinking it would be a good time to start talking about collaborating with our partners, about maybe doing something like an economic development luncheon, or an economic forecast luncheon, or something like that we haven't had in a long time. But maybe we'll wait for the marketing committee to get set and put that on them. But yeah, so, and then next month, also looking at, I'll start doing some visits with, or my plan is to start doing some visits with some non-client businesses. We should also work on, for next month, I do want to, if we can fit it into the schedule, pick some target industries. Have a conversation about picking some key target industries that we're not currently serving, that we want to be proactive about doing outreach to. So that'll be on the agenda for next month.
Educating them about why being involved with ADA would be helpful to them.
going after
them
like,
to get them.
some of these non-client site visits,
Right.
making sure we're going after businesses in those industries and trying to, or areas of business, to start building those relationships and saying, here's what we have to offer, like, what are your plans for the future?
That's great.
And also, you know, if it's like they need workforce help, getting them in touch with workforce development.
Right.
Yeah.
But doing that, I'm not talking about doing a lot of them, but doing some business retention and expansion, because no one's doing them right now.
That's great.
Might as well be,
So we have some things that I want to, take care of next month, but it'll all be on the agenda. So just take a look at this, and, if there's anything that you see that is, seems out of line, or that you're worried about, let me know. Really, any questions on that work plan?
And you want to give us updates on pilots and disbursements?
So can I do the general updates first? I have a couple of those. Our website is a mess right now. We have some malware. I'm working on it. Dan's been helping me. Jimmy pointed it out to me, or the mayor pointed it out to me, sorry.
Yeah, because we got out of work, and our IT department was like a warning, the whistles were going off. What website are you using? Yeah, so I let Tracy know, and I think you let me know.
We cleaned it up, we had GoDaddy clean it up, and then it immediately got malware again. So,
Oh, my
we've done some
goodness.
more cleaning up, and we're working on it with GoDaddy. Dan's been helping me. I'm gonna see, at this point, because it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would, I'm gonna see if maybe we can put up a temporary site that just says like, temporarily out of order, so that people aren't trying, because like, we don't want anyone to get infected.
Yeah.
So, we're just know that we're having issues, there's things that aren't working right on the website in addition to there being malware, so, just be aware and don't go to our website right now, and, we'll keep working on it.
Is that why I got that message when I sent that email?
Yes.
It is opening, am I gonna have malware problems, Dr.?
No, because you didn't actually go to the website, it just like told you because it had a link to the website. It had a
Girl
link.
needs to know, because I'm not the IT guy. I don't, my 11-year-old grandson.
Yeah, it's annoying, but we're gonna fix it, and we're gonna be fine.
That's right, we got Dan, we got Menace.
Dan is, oh, thank God for Dan. I don't know what I would do without him right now on this website thing. Okay, the other thing is, I don't have an answer on that yet, so we're not gonna talk about that. So that's the one general update I wanted to give you tonight, is just the, that website issues. Don't send anyone there, don't go there.
Oh, jeez.
We'll work on it. We'll get it up and running and get it cleaned up. We just,
Oh, my God. Is it GoDaddy or is it another?
I think there was like a loophole through one of the plugins that was built into it, or one of like the apps or plugins or whatever. I don't really know how to work, but I think there was like some kind of a loophole through those that,
Do we need to notify anybody outside of this room that we have this issue, or how will we know if, because people will visit the website, well, they'll try to, so what we gonna do? I'll have Dan figure that out.
that's why I'm thinking we need to put up something temporary,
Temporary,
just to say like, we're out of order, like,
Right.
bye, like,
Maybe-
check back later.
maybe-
I prefer to do that.
Yes.
Yep, website.
So, I'll work on that. So yeah, that's all, just be aware. Thank you, Teresa.
And are we ready for the pilot
Yes.
invoices and
Our pilot billing is done.
Yay. Record time.
So we got our last payment,
It seems it.
we dispersed, it does seem it, actually.
It does, yeah.
Especially after last year. Everything came in, we had 2 late, payments. One of them, it was actually an issue with the mailing address, when they updated the mailing address,
Right.
it got typed in wrong and it just didn't go anywhere, so, I went ahead and waived their fee, because as soon as we had that conversation, they sent a new check.
Yeah.
But everything has come in, everything has been dispersed, the last ones were dispersed, February 6th, and we are all clear, everything's zeroing out, everything's great. So, our pilot season is officially done. Just as a reminder, I am having conversations with the taxing jurisdictions about changing the timing of the billing for next year. But we're still kind of in the process of making sure that everyone is, none of the jurisdictions are gonna have any kind of fiscal cash flow issue because of that. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's not insignificant either, so we just wanna make sure that everyone's gonna be okay. So yeah, so that's the update on the pilot invoices and disbursements, is 2025, 2026 is in the books.
look how happy she is. Matt, we have a past life you don't need to know about. Spare yourself.
Everything was dispersed within 30 days. I have envelopes as backup of when things came in. Oh, our auditors are gonna be,
I know.
that's what I live for, making auditors happy.
That's right, that's the goal. And then, are we ready to go to the next trip?
We're ready.
Moving through in good time too. So let's talk about the bill.
Yeah, so, the MRB bill just came out like yesterday, and I don't have a copy of it yet, so we'll deal with it next month. But we do have the Dana Berlin McKee bill. As a heads up, I did have to move some money to pay last month's bills. So we really, Rob, need those projects to close. whenever that happens, as soon as possible.
Is Rob still there?
Rob's still there.
I'm still here. I don't. I'm
We can't see on the screen.
I'm hoping that Dill Street will go within the next couple of weeks. 4042 South. I reached out to their lawyer and sent the documents. They have not responded at all. But I think at least Dill Street will go soon.
But yeah, so we only have the one bill we need to worry about this month, and we'll take care of MRB Group next month, and that will be their last invoice. So yeah, I'm just looking for approval for the $5,000 for audit progress to Daniel Motion.
So move.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And are you gonna do the treasurer's report for tax?
I will do the treasurer's report.
Thank you.
So, it's the first month of the year. Not much has happened at the balance sheet. Tessa would point out that, our equity is reducing, so that's just something to keep an eye on. But for this month, for January, we accrued the $1,000 at the membership for New York State EDC. And then office supplies, that's actually the payment for the annual QuickBooks subscription. So we made that transition in January. So we'll be paying annually instead of monthly, and we save a couple $100 by doing that. So that's why there's a big charge on office supplies for January. The professional services is the Dana Bull McKee bill that we just approved. Contract services was, the bill that was the previous bill from MRB that got approved in January. And, marketing and promotion, that was a renewal of one of our domain names. And that's it. That's what's happening in January on the balance, or in the P&L.
Questions, observations? Good. Anything else on that report, please?
Nope.
I entertain a motion to accept the financial report as presented.
So move.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Tracy, the next thing you're giving us just some updates or about what happened at the conference?
Yes, so I went to Albany last week for the annual EDC conference. Just a couple of items that came up that I thought would be good for this group to understand. I mentioned this earlier, but there is a bill going through the legislature that would clarify the role of IDAs with housing. Also, so Senator Martinez is sponsoring that bill, and she's also interested in a bill that would allow IDAs to do grants and loans again. IDAs lost that ability a number of years ago, and she wants to, with the exception of during COVID, and so there's another bill that's kind of kicking around about bringing back that authority. So not as relevant for us right now, but there are some IDAs that have big balances of dollars that they would love to be able to provide grants for community projects or infrastructure projects or whatever without having to finagle how it's done. It'd be great to be able to just grant a workforce development group some money for workforce development as opposed to having to set it up as a contract. So that's also kind of kicking around. I'm less hopeful for that than I am for them to more clearly define IDA's role. One way or another, whatever that is. It would be great if they defined it. So that's kicking around. There's also some bills floating around to modify the tax cap calculation to better account for revenue that's coming from growth from pilots. and taking into account other revenue, or taking bid taxes out of the tax cap formula, because there's only a certain amount of people who actually pay it, and they're in a district that they've agreed to pay it. So, not accounting for that revenue, and so that would make a difference in how the tax cap formula works. And the example they use is like Micron, like something as big as Micron coming in and creating all this, this economic development, you know, shouldn't negatively impact the tax cap formula. So there's some talk about looking at how to modify that to better account for economic development in that. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, created a new revolving loan program for manufacturers called MARC. So that's just something to be aware of. Opportunity zones are a thing again. They're permanent now, supposedly, so that's, but we do have an opportunity zone in Auburn, so it is another tool in the toolbox that we can start talking about now. The tech park is in the opportunity zone, so it's an additional potential incentive for someone looking to develop. MEPs, which are manufacturing extension partnerships, has some proposed funding for modernizing manufacturing in the form of competitive grants and for operating and capital, so I'm just going to keep an eye on that. They're reforming SEAKR, theoretically. The governor would like to make some reforms to SEAKR to make certain types of housing projects exempt from SEAKR so that it streamlines the process, because there's some duplication in between, but basically what some of the things they're talking about is removing duplication from some of these processes in terms of, you have to go get a DOT permit anyway, so do we need that to be part of SEAKR? But anyway, so some of the things they're talking about.
Not watering down SEAKR.
No, not watering down SEAKR. Looking at,
Redundancies.
looking at redundancies and removing things that are like, well, you have to get this permit anyway, so, you know.
I mean, the last thing we want is water down SEAKR
No.
housing, like that's where you want it on the
The only place that it is a little bit watering down is what her initial proposal is to, make certain types of housing exempt from SEAKR, and they still have to get all of their DEC, permits and stuff like that, but it would be up to 100 units on previously disturbed land would be exempt. And it has to be hooked up to an existing water system. That would be exempt from, so that's one thing that they're talking about doing, and then having state agencies reviewing to expand their Type 2 actions, which is essentially the same thing. So there's just like, they're talking about streamlining SEAKR, for better or worse, not making any judgment calls, just like making some streamlining, which I do agree with, exempting certain types of projects. On previously disturbed land, chances are SEAKR is a negative declaration anyway, but, and also instituting a 2-year clock for SEAKR. So like, things can't get caught up in the SEAKR process, or basically what they're saying is they don't want communities to be able to just drag out projects forever, and using SEAKR as a tool to drag out projects until the developer goes away. What they're really doing there is responding to a way that SEAKR has been weaponized, as opposed to what it's supposed to do.
Matt, SEAKR is state environmental review, so whenever a project comes forward, there's a certain process, go through the environmental review of it. Gotcha. There's different categories.
But that all has to be voted on by the legislature.
Correct. It would all need to go through the legislature, so it would be a reform to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, so the legislature would need to approve it. And then there's just like a bunch of money just coming out. So a lot of it
People say they don't have any.
A lot of it focused on housing development, $750 million for water infrastructure, a new smart growth grant to to evaluate infrastructure opportunities. So, just some talk about funding in the budget.
Did you say Senator Martinez? We know somebody who works in Senator Martinez's office. Keeps cutting.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, you can, like, she seems to be on top of it.
She's
so.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
she speaks, for the last, I think at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, she's been one of the speakers at NICOM on day one. And she seems to get it. Like, she's trying to push some things along that I think will be beneficial. And on that note, if there's certain things you think Ada or my office should support, let me know, and we'll get a letter together. And
Clarifying the role of IDAs.
yeah,
in
well,
housing.
seriously, if you take a letter from my office,
Yeah.
we'll put something together.
That's a good idea.
So Tracy, yes, I was thinking that same thing as well, and also I like that you bring this information forward so that we can be paying attention to what's trending out there. And again, should we agree that we want to convene community conversations, I think just letting people know what could be rolling in our direction. Those kind of topics are always helpful as well.
And, you know, part of it is like, I don't expect you to know all these funding programs, which is why I don't talk about them in depth, but like, just know that if you're talking to someone, they're like, oh, like this manufacturer is doing this thing. They're like, Tracy might know something about that. And we'll take it from there.
Tracy will know something. She knows everything now, is the answer.
If I don't know it, I know someone who does.
I travel with her, Tracy's low-key favorite, so.
I saw Dan Rickman, who is our regional SBA director, and he was talking about the MARC program. He seems pretty excited about it, which says something. So, you know, there's good people out there doing this work that we can connect into, and perhaps we haven't been as connected with. I also ran into someone from TDO, which is Evans Syracuse Technical Development Organization or something like that, and we're gonna touch base again because we've been disconnected. See, this is why these conferences are good. You run into these people and say, oh yeah, we should talk, because right now they're all like, what's happening in the county? I'm like, you just come and visit. We
are happening. So the last item is just, do any of you members have any updates, anything you want us to know about? Mayor, is there anything you need us to know about?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, I think this was a great meeting.
Yeah, it was.
We're having lots of good things coming this way. Matt, thank you so much for agreeing to join the board. I'm saying this tongue in cheek, but I'm very sincere. We are the thing. And I'm intentional about us being the thing here in Cuba County as it relates to economic development. And I just think we have a lot of good work ahead of us. I appreciate all your input, your questions, and onward and upward. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Y'all want to go home? Yeah, thank you. That's like, I think so. All right, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, good. Have a good month, everybody.
Now you have movement.
Night.